Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to this live broadcast on Alliance in Motion Global. My name is Masagana Sethaimkwei. I'm an entrepreneur with Alliance in Motion Global. Today I'm speaking about some realities about employment. In other words, there are some things we need to know, we need to understand about employment in the event we are employees to guide our actions in the future. Before I speak about these hard realities, I want to tell you two stories that I have heard in recent times. The first story was of a man who went into the office of his boss he was working with to request to be permitted to be absent from work for a few days. Then his boss asked him the reason, and the reason was that his sister was having her wedding, and as a brother, he needed to be there. Then the boss asked him, who will clear the files on your table? In other words, the work you are supposed to do, who will do the work? As a result of that, he was not allowed to go. He was not happy that he could not go to be with his sister during her wedding. However, he felt some inner satisfaction from the fact that he realized that he was very important, such that if he is not available, there's no one to do his job. So he felt important, he felt indispensable, he felt he was irreplaceable, and so that gave him an inner satisfaction. Then after a few months, one of their colleagues they were working with passed on, died. And in the office, they were called for a meeting, officially informed about the death of their colleague, and they were asked to observe a minute silence in honor of their departed colleague. After the silence, the boss said, "May her soul rest in peace." Then after that, he said, "The meeting is over. Everybody get back to your job." So this brother went to the boss and asked him, so who will clear the files on her table? To his surprise, the boss said, in a few days' time, somebody was coming to take over to do the job she was supposed to do, and that person will clear her table. Then he felt a little sad because he realized that after all, if he is not there, if he dies, somebody will take over his job. The second story was a man who was also an employee. He also felt he was irreplaceable. He also believed that if he is not there, nobody can do the work. And so he was having a discussion with another person in the same office who was older and more experienced than him. So the person called for a bucket of water and asked him to dip his finger into the water. After that, he asked him to take out his finger. He took out his finger, and then he told him that his position or space in the office is just like the space he left in the water after he took out his hand. He didn't understand. He thought about it, then he realized that immediately he took his finger out of the water covered up the space. In other words, it was like there was no space left in the water after he took out his water. And he was made aware that his position is just like that. He thinks he's important, but if he should die or walk out of the office and stop work, if immediately he gets out of the office and he looks behind him, he will realize that somebody else is doing his work. And so these two stories are going to form the basis of the hard realities that we are going to discuss today. And I will discuss just two of the realities, hard realities about employment with you. The first one is that you are not irreplaceable. No matter how good you are, no matter how efficient you are, no matter how competent you are, you are not irreplaceable. No matter how your employers and bosses make you feel important, make you feel good, make you feel like you are not irreplaceable, the reality is that you are and you can be replaced. Immediately you should die, somebody will do the job. The business is never going to collapse because you are no longer with the business. The business will not come to an end because you have left. Some way, somehow, somebody is going to do the job, and if you are not careful, somebody might even do it better than you were doing, such that nobody will miss you. And so the first hard reality about employment is that you are not irreplaceable. No matter how important you think you are, you can be replaced. And so as you are working, wherever you are working, let it be at the back of your mind that you are not irreplaceable. The second hard reality is that your children cannot inherit your position. Your children, they cannot come to your workplace after you die to come and tell your boss that they are coming to inherit your position, so that they inherit your position, inherit your rank, whatever you were doing, they inherit it and they continue to do it as if you were there. It doesn't work like that. Employment is just like, it's like an individual thing. Once you, the individual, you are not there, that is the end of your employment. Your children cannot, will not, and may not be allowed to inherit you. The best that can happen is that your children may be employed, but they would also have to start from scratch and build their own careers. They cannot inherit your career, inherit your position, inherit your rank, and do the things you were doing. They would have to start from scratch to build their own careers. So these are two hard realities about employment. Now, what is the way out? Or what can we do about it? What decisions can we make or take in order to ensure that our children and even ourselves are not adversely affected by these hard realities about employment? The advice I can give you is that make sure that you invest in something that can become your own, something that you can pass on to your children. And I recommend network marketing to you, and I recommend among network marketing companies Alliance in Motion Global to you, because in Alliance in Motion Global, our philosophy is that you run it as your own business. You are your own boss, and you decide what happens to your business. If you should die, we have an inheritance clause where you are going to nominate anybody, especially your children or relatives, to take over your account at the time that you die. When they take over your account, they take over your entire network. And so, assuming you had 10,000 people under your network, your children will inherit the 10,000 people under your network, and anything you would have earned from that network, in case you were still alive, your children will continue to inherit the same way. The earnings that you would have made if you were alive, your children would have made the same, actually make the same earnings after you are gone. And so, I want you to know that it is wiser for you to invest in Alliance in Motion. Start Alliance in Motion Global Business now. Grow it into a big network such that you will have financial freedom, and when you die, your children will also enjoy financial freedom from the investment you will make. And if they die, they will hand it over to their children. And because every time people are joining the network and the network is becoming bigger, your children will even come and get bigger network and also inherit bigger earnings than even you. Now, one thing that is very important to note is that in Alliance in Motion Global, even if you don't do the business, your account does not expire. And so when your children takes over, They can decide not to run the business, yet the account will never expire, and so they will continue to earn all the earnings they must earn from the business when you are not there. And that is a big advantage Alliance in Motion have, because in other places, once the account is not being run, the business is not being run, the account is declared dormant and then it is closed. Not in Alliance. It is never closed. It runs. It's like the account runs forever. People come, they die, they hand it over, they die, they hand it over, but the account remains forever and keeps becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, day in, day out. And your generations will even come and earn and enjoy higher earnings than even you. So the inheritance clause and the lifetime nature of the account and the business, that it never expires, ensures that when you are not there, your children are guaranteed high earnings even for their life. Another reality that you must know is that if you should die, your employers will never take over the caring of your children. It doesn't happen. We've had colleagues in our office die, because I'm still working, I'm in my office now, I'm still an employee. We had colleagues who died, and their children had to go and live with other people virtually, like house help or servants, in order for them to take care of them. Colleagues died and their children had to drop out of school, or they had to go to less privileged schools because their parents died and there was nobody to take care of them. In Alliance in Motion, when you die, the account will take care of your children, and because the account will even become bigger and the earnings will be higher than even when you yourself was alive, your children will even live more comfortable than when you were alive. This is the Alliance in Motion global advantage. This is the reality about AIM Global that should let you get interested in joining Alliance in Motion Global. So I want to welcome you. I want to encourage you. Consider Alliance in Motion Global. Let's work together. Let's earn together. Let's secure our financial future and secure the financial future of our children and generations that are yet to be born. So just comment below and we'll get back to you and give you all the assistance you need to join us. Join us now. Join us today. This is where I'm going to end the presentation this morning. Thank you very much for your time and thank you very much for watching. You are welcome to the wonderful world of Alliance in Motion Global, where we turn ordinary people, including children, into extraordinary millionaires. Thank you, Mentor Yunesh, and thank you, Upline Asha, for joining me this morning. Happy Business Day.